Hey, welcome back for another episode of Titan Sports. I'm Oscar Rodriguez.
Good to see you again. I'm Katie Alves.
Hey there, I'm Ruiz.
Hello again, I'm Elmira Darmanian.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Ethan Michael.
And I'm Marisa Flores. It's nice to see you guys again. And of course, we're here to get the ball rolling to provide you with your weekly sports updates. Welcome to another episode of Titan Sports.
LAFC are newly crowned champions of the MLS. The match brought out all of your good and bad, but in the end, after a gut-wrenching 120-minute Philadelphia Union and the LAFC fought match on both sides. The final had you on the edge of your seat, as this was a well-worth price of admission. The score was 1-1 until the 82nd minute when LAFC Jesus Murillo would break it with a goal in the 83rd minute, making the score 2-1. But the Philadelphia Union would score a few minutes later on a Sam Elliott scored in the 85th minute to end the regulation time tied at 2 goals apiece.
Elliott would make it 2 by hitting the back of the net in the 120 plus 4th minute. They were tasting victory until LAFC's Gareth Bale successfully got to the latest goal in the history of the MLS at the 120 plus 8th minute, setting the score tied up at 3. And then the game went to penalties.
After successfully having penalty kicks from Bouanga and Hollingshed, all eyes were on Eli Sanchez. His goal is a success and made the LAFC champions for the first time in their first 5 years of the club.
As Odell Beckham Jr. nears the final stages of his recovery from a torn ACL, several NFL teams are fighting for the star wide receiver to join their roster. In a recent interview with Complex, a defending Super Bowl champion dropped a few clues about his potential landing spot. He mentioned 4 teams that he was already in discussions with: the Buffalo Bills, the Green Bay Packers, the Dallas Cowboys, and the New York Giants. He commented, quote, "I want to be able to spill these next 3 years or 4 years into something where I can buy a home, like I can call this place a home. I'm tired of living out of a 2-week suitcases. I've done the rock and roll life," end quote. Whatever offer Beckham accepts, it sounds like he's doing so with the intent of finding a place he belongs in, a team he can grow with through the upcoming years.
The 30-year-old player was drafted back in 2014 by the New York Giants, and he eventually was traded after only 5 seasons and 5 Pro Bowl seasons with the Giants, and eventually traded to the Cleveland Browns. After a rough stint with the Browns, he then got traded again. He then got let go and got picked up again by the Los Angeles Rams, where he played a huge vital role impact with 27 catches, 503 yards, and scored 5 touchdowns in his season with the Rams, only playing about half the season. Once the Super Bowl came along, he was well on his way to becoming the Super Bowl MVP before the unfortunate incident of him tearing his ACL against the Bengals.
We are excited that Beckham is almost back to 100%, and there is no doubt whichever team he joins will truly benefit from his athletic potential. We will have to wait and see Beckham's final decision on the matter.
After a 26-3 loss to the New England Patriots, the Indianapolis Colts have officially parted ways with their head coach, Frank Reich. Frank held a 40 wins, 33 losses, and 1 tie record as a creative offensive coach in his 4+ seasons with the Indianapolis team. However, the Colts' recent performance has been a complete disaster, currently ranking 27 in total yards per game for the season. His interim replacement, you ask, would be none other than the former Colts Pro Bowl center and Super Bowl winner, Jeff Saturday. Colts owner and CEO Jim Irsay commented that Saturday is, and quote, "the best man for the job. There's no question about it in my mind. First of all, he's extremely tough and he's a leader. When you're looking for head coaches, leadership is the #1 thing. He's also highly intelligent. You have to be a great thinker. You have to be able to work with people," end quote.
Now, although Saturday has no prior collegiate or NFL-level coaching experience, he played for the Colts from 1999 to 2011 before ultimately becoming a regular consultant for the team. Now, upon retiring, he also worked as an ESPN analyst, so his decades of experience participating in and following the game could reflect in his coaching methods.
Saturday was surprised to be the first choice for the role over some others with actual coaching experience, but is confident it's something he can handle. He told reporters, quote, "I feel full capable, excited for the opportunity, but I have no preconceived notion that I'm going to be some spectacular anything. I know I've got to work hard," end quote. Hopefully Saturday we'll be able to turn the Colts offense around, shifting the momentum back in their favor for future games.
The 2022 MLB season has finally come to a conclusion as the Houston Astros have defeated the Phillies in a total of 6 games, earning the World Champion title with an impressive postseason standing of 11-12.
The start of Game 6 was worrisome for the Houston Astros as they were down 1-0. However, Yordan Alvarez surely became the miracle that fans were hoping for as he hit a 3-run home run towards center field.
Shortly after, Christian Vázquez scored another home run and secured the lead even further at 4-1. This is the second World Series that the Astros have won, the last being in 2017.
Now, to wrap up with some fun news, will sports soon be available for you to stream on Netflix and watch? Well, on Tuesday, the Wall Street Journal reported that the streaming service giant placed a bid on the rights for the ATP Tennis Tour for some European countries, including France and the UK.
However, nothing was finalized. The reports then stated that Netflix has dropped out and didn't follow through with the acquisition. Netflix denied the comment when asked about this decision.
Other events that Netflix has considered yet not acted upon are rights to the Women's Tennis Association and the World Surf League.
All right, stay tuned for our roundtable discussion coming right up after the break. Hey, welcome back, everyone. So for our roundtable discussion, we have a lot of stuff to say. I know the biggest one is OBJ and his some landing spots. Where do you guys think he's going? You know, we got the Bills, even the Ravens. I know we didn't talk about that, but we got the Ravens coming up, even the Cowboys. So where do you guys think are some top landing spots, and where do you think he's going to be able to succeed in that team?
I think his presence was definitely missed this season on the Rams, and I think you can see it when they play on the field for sure, and I think you can see it in their O-line. I think if he was there and if that injury for sure didn't happen, he would have had a phenomenal season if he would have stayed with them. But seeing as he said he is looking for that home spot, he's looking for a place where he can finally settle down and start his life. A big part of me is thinking he's going to go back to his original team in New York because he is so familiar with the place already. He had a lot of time there. It's where he got his start. And I don't know, if I'm Beckham, I'm wanting to wrap up where I started. And if I know New York, why not stay there, you know?
Yeah, he talked about wanting a place to be his home. And so I feel like he's probably most comfortable, but I think he's going to go to the Bills. I think the Bills are doing so good right now. They're a stacked team, and he's still an exceptional player. So I personally would want to go to the best team, and I think the Bills are doing really well.
Yeah, that's true. And if they add him, oh my gosh,
if they add him and Josh Allen and the rest of the team that they have,
that's for sure going to be a lethal team. Absolutely. Well, where do you think he's going to go?
Well, I think it's interesting. Well, first and foremost, it's so unfortunate. I've been an Odell fan. I'm a Steelers fan, but I've been a fan of his for years since he got drafted, and I loved him in New York. Obviously, he had a lot of things that went on there that caused him to get traded, but it was so nice to see him come with the Rams. It really helped them out, and I truly think he would have won the Super Bowl MVP going at the rate that he was playing at. And if he didn't get hurt, I think he would still be on the Rams on a 3-4 year deal. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, I think I agree with Marisa. I think it's down because he wants to be at home. Let's call it what it is. Baltimore is not like a very homey place to say the least. No disrespect, but or like Green Bay or maybe not even Kansas City. But I do think he might go back to the Rams. Who knows? He might go back to New York. But if there's a place that he might go to, not just for a home, but also really gives him the best chance to win, from my personal opinion, I think it's got to be probably the Chiefs. But that's just my opinion. That's just how I think right now. I know that he had the whole thing with Michael Parsons on Twitter, but that's just a bunch of smoking mirrors. I don't see him going to Dallas.
But yeah, I agree with Marisa though. I think he wants to stay home, especially since he had a baby now. So you don't want to be traveling a lot and then moving the baby around, especially with his girlfriend around. But honestly, I feel like he should go to a team where there's going to be a good quarterback. So the Ravens or the Chiefs, because I feel like he doesn't really want to go. I get why he wants to go for the New York because he's familiar, but Daniel Jones is still unproven to be a good quarterback, and I feel like he doesn't want to go there and be like, I know they're doing hot right now, but I feel like he just wants to go with a good quarterback. Like 100%. You can't go from Matt Stafford to Daniel Jones.
100%.
And sticking with the NFL, I'm also curious about that whole Colt situation. What do you guys think? I know it's interim, but what do you guys think of Saturday taking on that position with Reich leaving? Because he, like I said, he doesn't have any collegiate experience coaching or any experience in the NFL. He's only been a consultant for the team and played for them. And players don't always make the best coaches, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
But there are also examples of people who never coached and never played the sport still being a good coach. So I think experience is kind of a backup for him. And if he does and goes into an action and actually works for the best, with his full potential, it can turn out good.
But do you think that experience playing is different from the experience coaching?
Personally, I think it is different. It also depends on the coach that you have.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's what I mean. So the coaching experience, I don't know. For
it's
me,
different, definitely.
While it's interim, I'm worried about the Colts. They're already not having the best season. So especially with that coaching change, you can only imagine they might be going through it a little bit more.
I'm just hoping he gives the ball more to Jonathan Taylor. That's all I know. No, but I like the idea that he presented himself like, I have no coaching experience. I don't know how I'm going to do, but I'm going to try my best. I feel like him being straight up and confident to the fans, giving just a warning to the fans,
not bluffing.
I'm not going to come in, we're going to win games. He's just being honest, and I feel like when saying that to his fan base, all right, we're going to give him time, especially being a new coach, but hopefully he does well, man. So
yeah, absolutely.
No, I got to say, as a former, I've never played in the NFL. I've played at the junior collegiate level, but I will say from a locker room standpoint, I really don't know how they're going to take it because none of these players played with him. I liked him as a player. I think he's going to be a good leader. I do believe that because he was a leader on those teams when we were all younger with Peyton Manning and they were going to Super Bowls and things like that. But I think ultimately, he's an interim coach. I think he's pretty sure he still has contracts with ESPN. So I think it's literally just to the end of the season and then he'll probably go back. But from a fan standpoint, I like it. I know I think the Colts' biggest issue is they haven't found a stable quarterback since Andrew Luck left so abruptly a few years ago.
Andrew Luck. I thought you were talking about Wentz for a second. I'm like, yeah.
No. It says Andrew Luck. So
Sam Ellinger is not doing anything.
No, he's not. So it should be interesting. But I'm just worried. I really hope the guys in the locker room, because that's where it comes from, they like him and they could trust him for the rest of the season because they know they're not really going anywhere. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah,
I think.
Oh,
my bad.
No, so I was gonna pass it to you on baseball. Yeah. I know Ethan, beginning of the show, I really want to talk about the Astros. Yeah. So what do you think about them winning the World Series and after? Talk about some of the free agent predictions you got.
Well, I think the Astros since 2017, I think it's been a black eye on the league. And I think it's been a black eye on sports, especially when Rob Manfred, when the Dodgers got suspended for throwing a pitch at them, they got more suspensions than the Astros did at all for cheating. And when I think you let that happen in the league, I think it's pretty hard to take it seriously. I think they tried to, I think the Astros tried to do some PR work and get one of the most likable coaches in Dusty Baker. So shout out to Dusty for finally winning his ring. But I think it's hard to take them seriously or the league. It's been a black eye, and I feel like the Astros need to change the color of the uniform or something, just so I can get that that whole cheating, scandalous image out of my head.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, so once a cheater, always a cheater like that. So I don't know how you're supposed to take them seriously.
Yeah, no, as a Dodgers fan, I wouldn't say I agree, but I totally share that sentiment in not really wanting to see them in the series. I mean, like you said, they didn't really get that reprimanded when everyone found out that they cheated. And that really pissed me off as a Dodgers fan, because like you said,
and the Red Sox did it too. I don't know why the Red Sox don't get flack. They did it right after. But anyways.
And with them facing the Phillies too, the Phillies has a pretty impressive lineup. So before the series started, not only because I'm a Dodger fan, but I was honestly really impressed with the Phillies throughout the season, and I low-key thought they might take it, especially with Bryce Harper, because sometimes when he comes up to the plate, and if it's a good day for him, he's sending that ball to the outfield instantly, and he's really stepped up for them. But congrats to the Astros.
I'm glad that Bryce Harper got them to the or helped them get them to the World Series, because he got a lot of flack after the Nationals. Yeah. First of all, it's a team sport. I don't know. We make this mistake, especially in sports journalism, where it's like we individualize players. It's how it's marketed, but when
the team.
Yeah, exactly. When he left, the Nationals won. And so he sort of got flack for that. But it's nice to see that he was able to at least get them to the World Series. It's like there's 25 people on a roster. So it takes more than just one player, but it was nice to him sort of flip the script a little bit and show that he's a winner. Although he didn't win the World Series, he still was playing championship level game.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of Philadelphia, I'm sorry, because a big game for us this week was the MLS Cup. Did you watch the LAFC game?
Actually, I was at work, but I watched a couple of the highlights, and it was a really good game, and I regret not calling off from work because I should have watched it.
It was super exciting.
No, it was
super
good.
Exciting.
It's super rare when, especially in a final where they go to penalties. But yeah, it was truly a good game. But I just feel bad for the goalkeeper for LAFC because, he was already going to the World Cup with Canada, and then, he got injured. He got, I forgot what injury in his leg, but he had to go to the hospital, and he's out for the World Cup. So it just sucks because really, and if I was might say, all right, just got one more game, and I'm preparing for the World Cup, and who would have thought, I'm going to get injured in this game, and
I
then
believe
my chances are out.
People were thinking that he might have broken his leg, which is really bad, and I hope did not happen. But his backup that came in played really impressively. He blocked, I think, 2 of 3 of Philadelphia's shots. So he deserves some credit, too, for that win, I believe.
The funny thing with the goalkeeper, the last season, he played with Philadelphia. So it was funny that he was able to block some of his former teammates' goals. So.
He probably made him feel good, too.
Yeah.
Also, are you guys excited that we might be able to watch sports on Netflix? I'm sorry,
I'm so glad you brought it up.
Right, exactly. I know they're starting off with some of the smaller contracts, like the ATP. They didn't follow through with it, so they might start off with some of these smaller leagues that are easier to buy. So it might be a minute before we see the NFL or the MLB on any of our Netflix screens. But I definitely think we're heading into the world of streaming.
But I believe it's
cable.
not the first big step for Netflix. I'm just saying, it is finally going to be an opportunity for us to buy one subscription and not have a lot of accounts, 100 of emails coming from those platforms. It's just one platform, and then you can see everything. I think
exactly.
It's
Well, I also think that's why they're doing it, because there's so many streaming giants nowadays.
And sports are hard. Like Thursday Night Football will be on one, and then Monday will be on a different one. If it's all in one place, I feel like it'll really grow their viewers. I think it's a great idea to put it on Netflix.
Isn't this all just sort of becoming cable, though, at some point? Where we have to buy all these
That's
different
what
ones?
they're trying to cut cable. Everyone's trying to do that.
If I'm speaking honestly, though, at my apartment, me and my roommate do not have cable. We have Netflix, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and we have everything we need at our disposal. So I definitely think we're heading that direction, and I hope to hopefully soon be able to see baseball and football and those kind of sports on my Netflix screen.
Yeah.
Can I say something one more time?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I just want to say to all my Houston Astro fans and anybody who out there is part of the organization, it's still screw the Astros. I just want to make that very clear.
Can I give a shout out too?
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to our Titan, Justin Turner. I saw you won the Roberto Clemente Award. Shout out to Justin Turner. Keeping our Titans proud. So shout out to you, man.
Congrats.
All right. Well, that's all we have for you today, Titans. Thank you for joining us. I'm Oscar Rodriguez.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Katie Alves.
Thank you guys for joining. I'm Isaiah Ruiz.
Thank you again. I'm Elmira Darmanian.
Hope to see you guys next time. I'm Ethan Michael.
As always, you guys, thank you for watching and joining us. I'm Marisa Flores. Go ahead and, as always, give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter if you already haven't, at CSUF Titan Sports, to keep you updated on all things sports. We'll see you guys next time.